Just a moment ago here at Charlotte Coliseum, Akeem Olajuwon introduced to the sellout
Mario
crowd.
Ellie.
And then Alonzo Mourning.
Headed guard, 6'3" from North.
Here's the Rockets starting lineup, and these are not the defending world champions. Tim Bro, Pete Chilcutt. Their second starts of the season each, Olajuwon, Mario Ellie, and Kenny Smith. And for Microsoft, Burrell, Johnson, Mourning, Hawkins, and Bogues. Second meeting of the year between the two back in December in Houston. The Rockets prevailed 101-95. Larry Johnson missed that game because his wife had given birth to their first child. That's the only game this season Larry Johnson has missed. Here's Kenny Smith. Again on the Clyde Drexler thing, they might know by halftime if the trade has been approved. Mario Ellie for three, no.
Playing very, very short-handed. Herrera, Ori, of course, out, and now without Drexler, could be a real problem. They triple-teamed Olajuwon that time in the opening set play.
Kenny Smith gets the first foul. Rudy Tomjanovich and Carol Dawson, his assistant, they had such excitement at the shoot-around this morning about Clyde Drexler's appearance in the Houston uniform.
Yeah, you sensed it all day and right up till game time. You could see it even before the game. They're out on the floor. Everyone's excited. And then the proverbial balloon was burst, and they were not allowed to play because of the MRI situation with Otis Thorpe, which I'm sure will be okay because the guy was playing very well for the Houston Rockets.
Alan Bristow in his fourth season as head coach of the Charlotte Hornets, and because of the success of the team this year, Alan Bristow's career record here in Charlotte has gone above 500 for the first time. This is a Charlotte team that comes in 31-18, Houston 30-17. Only a game separates the two of them in one loss, but what a difference in the respective standings. There's a throwaway from Mario Ellie.
There's people not playing together. Olajuwon got the double team from Larry Johnson and threw out of it, and then Ellie Bro just slipped into the inside instead of holding up his spot of position where he's usually expecting a player to be.
That ball tipped away by Mario Ellie. This is actually the second game in a row that Rudy Tomjanovich has put this lineup on the court. Last Tuesday, they defeated the LA Clippers. These are not the Clippers they're playing.
No, this is not the Clippers. This club is playing its best basketball since this expansion franchise came into existence.
Larry Johnson
hitting the outside shot, going more, facing the basket, getting too many double teams down on the box, and moving around the court, finding his shot, and having a proverbial great year.
Outside, Tim Bro, second-year man, or rookie rather, out of Wyoming. Ball kicked back to Ellie. Drives it up. No bounce. Burrell with a rebound. Bogues has it. Nice pass, but Burrell wasn't ready. Johnson, ball is kicked around and comes into the hands of Mario Ellie.
There's going to be some great opportunities for the Houston players because they're actually going first to a double team, then sending the third guy. There's going to be a lot of open shots, but it's going to disconcert the effort of the Rockets because they're not used to this.
Fade away, Olajuwon.
They are used to that. This guy, if he's not the MVP of the league, he's certainly playing like it. He's so good at getting away from double teams, that step-away jump shot, that it's almost impossible to defend without playing him with 1, 2, or even 3 men, as the Hornets have decided to do.
Here's Johnson. Chilcutt guards him, the former North Carolina product. Johnson dishes to Mourning, and it's too strong, and Chilcutt gets it. Kenny Smith. Here's Tim Bro. Bro kicks it out. Now they find Chilcutt, who spots up for the jumper. Rims out, no good. Ellie, Olajuwon. The fade away from the baseline.
He'll take it on his shoulders and try to keep this thing competitive, this game competitive. Larry Johnson with a face-up.
Misses again. Loose ball foul. Scott Burrell with a foul, his first. Let's take a look at Olajuwon.
Great dish up by Ellie. There he shows the ball, gets in the lane, backs away. Then he steps away from the defense. Not many people can do that and make that shot. A lot of people can do it, but they end up not being able to get the shot off.
Olajuwon again. Rebound into the hands of Hersey Hawkins. Back to Hawkins. jumper for three. Got it.
They really love Hawkins to be involved in the game. They're 17-0 when he scores 17 points. The problem is some nights. I saw him in Jersey the other night. I didn't even know he was in the game.
That was a loss for the Hornets on Tuesday night. They looked awful in losing to New Jersey. They were down by 20 at the end of 3 quarters. And here's our first illegal defense call of the night.
You know, out of the All-Star break, so often the club that has been playing very, very well steps in, and all of a sudden they had 2 guys in Phoenix. They decided they were going to stay out there, and they forgot to come back. And teams will take some very tough losses after that All-Star break.
I assume you mean mentally instead of physically.
Well, if you'd seen him play, you'd have wondered.
Back to Mario Ellie. Here's Chilcutt. Early season acquisition off the glass, no good. Rebound, Scott Burrell. 6-4 Hornets lead. 8:22 to go. Opening quarter of play. Johnson. Nope. Charlotte ball.
There's Elijah Wan's intimidating defense in the lane. Larry went up for the shot. He took a long look around. He said, I just kind of loft this up. I better not take it in his face because he would have a block shot.
Muggsy Bogues. Back to Hawkins. Bogues with a jumper.
Muggsy playing very well tonight. The other night he struggled. Michael Adams, who's come off the injured list, is backing him up, getting some minutes. So it's going to give Muggsy a chance to rest, but it's also going to give Bristow a little bit of a problem in terms of playing time.
Foul called.
Yeah, Ellie was losing control of the ball on his hip there, caught a break, and drew the foul.
It was our intention to bring you up to date on a variety of the Rockets players and what their status is when we came on the air, but then that was superseded by the Drexler drama. You know, of course, that Vernon Maxwell is serving the suspension. Here's Tim Brough for 3. Maxwell has 7 games remaining on the 10-game suspension, and then the league will decide whether he comes back.
Well, that was a real problem for the Houston Rockets because they're in a position, and here's Morning getting to the basket, gets fouled and scores, but that was a real problem for, they'd slipped to 6th, which surprised me in the West, slipping almost to the position where they could slip out of the playoffs. I think they decided they need help. Watch this, Morning does this so well from the top of the key, gets in the lane, gets fouled by Elijah Wan, hand on the left shoulder, but scores it and goes to the line.
The foul is called on Chilcutt, and Alonzo Mourning goes to the free throw line. This is an outstanding free throw shooting team, Charlotte. 79%. I say that.
What happened?
Yes. Hawkins, jumper. He's got 5.
When he gets involved, we talked about it earlier, and he needs to be involved offensively. He's a good defensive player, and they're pressing more tonight because they don't think that Houston has the ball handling to get the ball up and in position and keep it out of Elijah Wan's hands. Good move by Alan Bristow.
Got time called now because of a wet spot on the floor. That's roughly in the vicinity where a hole opened up in the hive this morning.
Yeah,
Carl Herrera is on the injured list. Robert Ory is also on the injured list. We talked about Vernon Maxwell being suspended. They expect Herrera back at the conclusion of this 3-game road trip. There's Kenny Smith. Elijah Wan and Muggsy Bogues. There's a mismatch. I'm not sure in whose favor.
great play, pushing the ball, and Alonzo Mourning getting out. Easy basket because he was willing to run.
He'll shoot a free throw when we come back. Time has been called. Muggsy Bogues, third in the lead in assists. He gets one there.
How incredible are these?
Muggsy Bogues is having a terrific first quarter, Chuck.
Yeah, he really is. Here he's on the break. Freeze it right there. Look at his left arm right here, extended out, and you'll see that he's directing Mourning to the middle of the lane, and he knows he's going to dish him the ball because Mourning's going to split it and get the easy basket along with going to the foul line. How about this assist-turnover ratio? As Hubie Brown would say, a staggering stat.
How would he say it, though?
Staggering stat.
I can't wait till you get your Doug Collins impression down. That's pretty good. And Alonzo Mourning, look at that, 5 assists already on every basket scored, and they missed 2 at the free throw line.
Yeah, the best free throw shooting team in the league, and then they missed 2. Of course, Mourning is always up there.
Here's Kenny Smith guarded by Bogues. And Chucky Brown has come on, number 52, during the timeout. Signed to a second 10-day contract recently.
Yeah, Chucky played for me in Jersey, and he's a real hustling player. Never a problem, just comes in and does his job, really works the offensive board, can do a lot of things to help a club.
Chucky Brown, number 52, on the pick and roll, gets the pass, works hard underneath, and the basket goes.
Made the All-Star, CBA All-Star team this year, and very soon thereafter was added to the Houston Rockets lineup.
He came on when Carl Herrera went on the injured list, was playing with the Yakima Sun Kings in the CBA. Loose ball, Chucky Brown fights for it. He played collegiately nearby in Raleigh at North Carolina State. Chucky Brown, he's been with a lot of clubs in the NBA, but never for a long time.
Yeah, and also he's played in Europe.
Bogues. Percy Hawkins with Mario Ellie doing the defensive work. Hawkins has 5 already. Here's Mourning. Jump step, and he traveled.
One too many. You know, I was watching an earlier play, and Bogues and Mourning, if they want to go the pick and roll, Bogues can get a shot almost any time he wants, because it looks as though Houston is going under, and they could move that screen down and get a wide open shot.
14-9 Hornets. If you just tuned in and you're wondering about the absence of Clyde Drexler from the floor, we were told about an hour before game time that the MRI had not been completed on Otis Thorpe in Portland. And he cannot, Drexler and Tracy Murray are not allowed to play. Here's Bro. Oh, nifty move.
Yeah, getting into the lane. He can really get to the basket, and he's making some minutes count here for him to get more minutes. That's what happens. A guy is on the bench, doesn't get a lot of playing time, and all of a sudden he's got to be ready in situations like this.
There is the possibility that the MRI work will be completed on Otis Thorpe by halftime of this game. If the league then approves the trade, Drexler can play in the second half. He's in the locker room right now.
I have a sense that maybe Portland's not in a hurry since they don't have a game tonight.
Right. Back it goes. Ellie. Tim Bro looks underneath. Finds Chucky Brown. Mario Ellie to Tim Bro. That's for 3. No good. Mourning with a rebound. Ellie tips it away. Muggsy Bogues says, "You mean he didn't touch me?" You mean there was no foul?
Actually, Ellie made a great play. Stuff left hand in there. There wasn't as much contact as Muggsy would like to think. But being 5'3" sometimes in this league,
Fella needs a break. Kenny Smith guards Bogues. Hawkins in the corner. Well, that's bad news for Houston.
Yeah, Mario Ellie not following. He's going over the top. He goes over the top. He'll get shots all night long.
Percy Hawkins with a quick 7 points. Tim Bro. Mourning with a rebound. That's his 3rd rebound in the game. Ball stripped away. Chucky Brown. Here's Kenny Smith. 3-on-3. Bro. Oh, man. There's a difference, however, between Tim Bro and Elijah Wan.
Exactly. You got to block. Somehow they came up with it, stumbling around, and it ends up in Elijah Wan's hand. Fortunately, Bro was going to take off from about 15 feet off, fly into the air, go to a Michael Jordan dunk type. No go.
Here's Mourning. Gets it.
Charlotte Hornets got a wake-up call the other night. They're leading their division by a game and a half. They can't afford to stumble against clubs maybe they should win against.
Mourning with 6 points on 3 for 4. There's Chucky Brown. He's got 4.
Chucky's very agile, very clever at getting to the basket, finding the seam. He'll get some baskets that way. Is not a great shooter, but knows how to get there to get shots out of a double team.
Mourning. Nope. Brown chases down the loose rebound. 3:20 to go, opening quarter. And it's 18-15 Charlotte. Again, this is the second and final meeting between these two this year. Elijah Wan short with the baseline jumper. Burrell to Bogues. Houston back defensively. Tipped away. Chucky Brown gets it again.
Very, very active player. Can really help most clubs in the league.
Bogues fouls Kenny Smith. Let's go back and take a look at Alonzo Mourning's defensive effort against Tim Bro.
Here he comes in the lane, goes up, and he is really blocked. Gets the hand of and then Elijah Wan ends up with it, and he finishes it properly.
2:53 remaining opening quarter. Let's watch the screen set that frees Hersey Hawkins here, Chuck.
Yeah, this is a standard play in the league. You'll see Hersey Hawkins working on the right side over here. Ellie's trying to run him down. Ellie goes right to the watch, frees it right there. He's already dead in the water because by going over the top, he can't get to the position, and we're going to get a wide open shot by Hersey Hawkins. You have to follow and follow hard.
Joe Wolf, Robert Parrish, and Del Curry have come on for the Charlotte Hornets during the break. Tim Bro, number 15, has the ball now guarded by Joe Wolf. Mario Ellie got it for 3, and we're tied at 18. Bugsy Bogues, Joe Wolf, Del Curry, Robert Parrish, and Alonzo Mourning. Here's Del Curry. That's not unexpected, is it?
No, it isn't. And the same play coming off the baseline screen. Ellie did a better job of following, but you've got to follow really hard. And if Curry gets any kind of daylight on that kind of play, he's trouble.
Joe Wolf fouls Tim Bro. Joe Wolf was so happy to see you and me walk in today. The 2 previous times we've done Charlotte, he started and played well. He thought maybe there'd been a lineup change.
There was a mismatch in that, and he could get to the basket, which he did, and drew the foul.
Joe from Kohler, Wisconsin, and his mom and dad are here to watch him play, not only tonight, but next game Saturday night and then next Monday before they go back home. Tim Bro at the line.
They're on their way to Washington, to the White House, because they won the NBA title.
Yeah, the defending world champions are going to the White House. President Clinton won't recognize these guys.
Not this team, because they've got an entirely different club.
Wait a minute. Where's Otis Thorpe?
Where's Herrera? Where's Ori?
What happened to Robert Ori? Maxwell? Loose ball. Here's Del Curry. 2 on the shot clock. Mourning, air ball. Shot clock violation.
Alan Bristow talked to us today about this particular lineup where you go with Parrish and Mourning, and he feels most clubs will have a very difficult time trying to match up with this particular alignment. He loves the fact that he can move Mourning to the power forward, and who's really a center, and makes a tough matchup. If you take advantage of it, it's important you take advantage of it, and you have him on the box rather than facing.
Charlotte now with 5 turnovers that have led to 9 Houston points. Only 1 Houston turnover so far. That's Bro.
Having a really good game. You know, it's interesting because they got into a position that Hornets thinking, well, Drex is going to play. They got very high. I think they dropped out of it a little bit from an enthusiasm standpoint also, because they feel, well, now we can handle this club. Look at all the people missing.
Back it goes to Bogues. Jumper no good. Ellie with a rebound. And Kenny Smith beat Chilcutt, Mario Ellie. Tim Bro, who has 8 points. Robert Parrish brings it down.
Yeah, they've kind of ignored Keem the last few times. They better be careful about that.
That's the 6th Charlotte turnover.
An unusual one for Bogues. He got out of control, bringing the ball into the defense and staggered out of bounds, and Michael Adams replaces him.
Michael Adams recently reinstated from the injured list. This is only Michael's 17th game of the season. 49 games that have been played. 48 seconds to go, opening quarter. And the Rockets up by 3. Screen set by Chucky Brown. They kick it out to Ellie. Too strong. Mourning to Michael Adams. Pick and roll with Alonzo Mourning, and the foul's called on Mario Ellie.
Michael Adams, one of those dagger players, I call him. Loves to bring the ball down, jack up that 3 if you're not paying attention. One of the great 3-point shooters in the league.
There's Les Alexander and his wife, Nancy, to his right. Of course, pulled the trigger on the trade that sent Otis Thorpe to the Portland Trail Blazers. And was not here because of that trade. As Chuck said, they're en route to the White House. They play at Washington and New York. They're in New York on Sunday.
They should be able to get a shot off this pick and roll. They got a illegal
3-second violation. Oh,
very unusual play. I tell you, Rudy kept talking to Jake O'Donnell, who's not feeling well tonight. Kept talking. He said, "Look at him. He's standing in the lane there," and he got the call. Such an unusual. But that's an alert coach trying to help his club.
Sam Cassell. They find Tim Bro for three, rims out. But Tim Bro has led the way in the first quarter. The unexpected starter who got his shot tonight when Clyde Drexler was ineligible to participate in the game. A 10-2 Rockets run in the last 5 minutes. They lead by 3 at the end of the first.
Sunday, movies for guys who like movies.
That's a good sign.
Who couldn't resist fun with a little danger.
Should you need anything, gentlemen, just scream.
Travel to exotic places and the fast-acting feet of Chuck Norris.
Piece of cake.
But we'd be lying if we said it didn't have a sensitive side.
I need men of undying loyalty.
Firewalker, movies for guys who like movies. Sunday, 7 Eastern, only on TBS.
What the? Got anything to eat?
Hi, I'm Face.
No!
Hiya, handsome.
Where are you?
I think that we could use a snack. You need to relax. I'm on a roll. To the kitchen!
Hiya, Joe. You got anything to eat?
I got these Eagle snacks.
Eagle snacks. Eagle snacks. What you feed your face.
In the preseason, my back hurts. My arms hurt. My legs hurt. My brain hurts. Even my...
Back for the start of the second quarter. Vern Lundquist along with Chuck Daly from the Coliseum in Charlotte. The high with the Houston Rockets lead the Hornets 21-18. And right behind David Jones is Clyde Drexler. So there's 40% of Phi Slamma Jamma.
Yeah, is he or isn't he going to play? That's what I'm wondering. You know, the Rockets only shot 41% in the first quarter, but they forced 7 turnovers and got 11 points out of it.
And the Charlotte Hornets have been turning it over only 15 times per game this season. And there's their 8th in this ball game. Here's Scotty Brooks, who came on. He had a season-high 23 Tuesday night in the win over the Clippers on 9 of 10 from the field. I mean, look at this group that's on the floor for Houston.
It's amazing.
Chilcutt.
Gets it.
Chilcutt, Brooks, Chucky Brown, and Tim Bro. Along with Sam Cassell, of course, who was a star in the playoffs last year.
Yeah, the Hornets have, I've been noticing they look very, very comfortable. Maybe too much so.
There's Robert Parrish. You know, that's interesting because you mentioned that to Alan Bristow today, and he disagreed with you.
Yeah, he didn't think so, but I've been watching over a period of time, the last 2 or 3 weeks, even though they've been playing well, sometimes you get in too much of a comfort zone, thinking you can kind of turn it on and get it down in. That doesn't happen.
Charlotte has missed its last 7 shots. There's an air ball, and here come the Hornets. Michael Adams, the dish to Larry Johnson.
That's what Michael Adams does so well. He could get into the defense, either dish it off underneath or kick it to a 3-point shooter.
Brooks, Tim Bro.
They're really struggling now without Olajuwon to get second shots. Chucky Brown's got to do that, but he's not used to playing these kind of minutes.
Grandmama with a move, and he'll shoot free throws. At the conclusion of tonight's game, Chuck Daly and I will select the Budweiser player of the game coming up later on. Scotty Burrell comes back in. Strong candidate for most improved player, and Mr. Olajuwon is back on as well. New Jersey leading Denver 54-41 at the half. Denver is really playing poorly right now. And New York over Miami 50-39. Alvin Gentry, the new head coach of the Miami Heat, replacing Kevin Lockery. Mario Elie back on, and Tim Bro goes to the sidelines. How did he not go to LSU with that name spelled?
You're right. That was a lock.
Yeah.
Except Dale Brown down there gets an awful lot of good play.
Yeah, that's right. 23-21, 10:08 to go. First half, double on Elijah from Burrell, and that leaves Cassell open.
So they'll get in a little bit of a rhythm here, and they've got Cassell on the floor. Elijah back on. They can play the double team, kick it out, and get some very good shots.
Johnson for three, off the mark. Elijah to Scott Brooks. That's the third Elijah rebound, number 2 rebounder in the league. Brooks along the baseline. Ellie gets it back to Brooks. The double this time comes from Curry. And Elijah is called for being on the line.
Yeah, he got a hook on Robert Parrish. Robert Parrish responded very quickly. Look here, gets him on the baseline, got a little bit of a push. Actually, Parrish with his body forced him to the line and got the call.
26-21, Houston up by 5. Adams, three-pointer, no good.
Little shot put move.
Air ball from Johnson. Back to Curry. Boy, this is sloppy.
They're really turning it over and struggling to try to get a good shot.
There's a fairly high pick and roll. Underneath, not ready for it. Adams. Another errant shot. And you know what's happening? The hive is leaking. It's raining outside, and we're getting wet, Chuck. I don't know how to tell you this, but it's sprinkling on us.
We were watching that in the shoot-around today.
That may be the most exciting thing happening in this building tonight.
It's certainly turnovers, isn't it? Turnover, 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 turnover.
That's heading right toward us. Oh, boy. I thought, you know, there are pigeons inside this building there for a minute.
Here's another turnover.
And Del Curry gets the basket.
Don't give him too many looks like that with the stroke that he has. One of the premier shooters, both at the 2 range and the 3 range.
8:15 to go, opening half. You come expecting to see Clyde Drexler play, and you get rained on. Indoors. Foul. That's on Burrell. That's his second. There's Clyde Drexler. Again, he cannot play because the trade is yet to be approved by the NBA. The Portland Trail Blazers waiting for results of an MRI on Woody Short. But there's a possibility that we'll know something at halftime. Chilcutt. Curry with a rebound. 26-23. Robert Parrish. The Chief misfires. Ellie with a rebound.
Doing a good job on the boards. This is where everybody thought they're going to get hurt because of the trade and the fact that they've got so many people out. They're doing a pretty good job of hanging in.
Cassell posts up Adams and gets the roll. Sam Cassell has a quick 5, and the lead is 5. Brooks, Elijah Chilcutt, Ellie, and Cassell on the floor for Houston. It's Adams and Parrish, Johnson, Burrell, and Del Curry. Goaltending.
Watch Curry going around the screen, steps back, bumps into him, comes again, keeps working off screen. Notice how tight he came, got all the way in the lane. All that work, still got the shot blocked.
I don't want to dwell on this too much because that's going to drive me nuts, but I feel a little bit like Joe Flixbit, that guy with the cloud over his head.
I hear you.
Chuck, this one leak is coming right down.
Can you get electrocuted this way?
How can I tell you this, but Terry Bradshaw and I did the Fog Bowl once when we couldn't see a football game. Now we'll do the Rain Bowl in Charlotte. This is terrific.
We do have torrential rains outside.
Oh, man.
Threats of flood and closing.
I want you to know, I came out of 4 feet of snow in Steamboat, Colorado to come and get dripped on. This is terrific.
Oh, well. Get the umbrellas there.
Yeah, exactly. Time has been called. I got a drip dry shirt. We'll be right back.
Jason Patrick, Jennifer Jason Leigh, Rush, next on TBS.
Charlotte Coliseum, built in the late 80s, holding 23,000. and a few folks indoors. I've got a buddy back in Texas named B.J. Thomas who wrote a song and recorded it once called Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head.
Is that what happened since you came with us here in Turner?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm the caddy. I'll hold it, all right?
Oh, dear. Well, you know what? It's going to be a little drier in Phoenix, and that's where the Golden State Warriors take on the Phoenix Suns. Actually, in Golden State, Bob Neal and Hubie will be dry in Golden State tomorrow night on TNT. 28-25. Pick and roll, Olajuwon.
Good set play. They come out, run the pick and roll. Cassell, Olajuwon comes off the screen deep enough, getting a wide open shot for Olajuwon.
8 points for Olajuwon now. Here's Johnson working for it. Joe Gut, the double comes from Ellie. Ball rotation quickly over on the right side, and the jumper is good.
And the Houston Rockets and Portland Trailers and league office have agreed to extend the deadline to 9 p.m. Eastern so Portland can complete the physical. In the meantime, both players are allowed to sit on the bench. So maybe at 9 o'clock we'll have more information about Drexler. In the meantime, Hakeem hits one from the top of the circle.
That's 14 minutes from now, and Drexler and Tracy Murray are on the Houston bench. Hakeem now 5 of 7 field. Johnson. Nope. Mourning with the putback.
Mourning doing what he's done, wades into the lane. He's getting very good at going to the offensive board and finishing, getting some easy shots. Johnson made a great move across the lane, just couldn't finish.
5:27 to go before halftime. 32-30 Houston. Cassell. Rebound, Scott Burrell. Quick outlet pass to Larry Johnson. Ellie is back defensively. Scotty Brooks helps, not enough.
Yeah, the two guys went to him. They sandwiched him and let him split him. Somebody's got to stay behind. Remember where your goal is.
5:05 and the game is tied. 32 all. Kenny Smith getting ready to come back on for Houston. Olajuwon. Hersey Hawkins knocked that one away. Here's Adams. They kick it back to Hawkins. Ellie defensively. Another turnover.
Another turnover. Hersey Hawkins sometimes doesn't seem like he's quite set and ready to shoot it.
That's 9 turnovers in the first half.
They're going to have to cut that down. This is what happens down sometimes to clubs after that All-Star break. Talked about it earlier. And they are really mishandling the ball.
9-4 turnovers now. 4:36 to go first half. 32 all. Mario Ellie will shoot free throws.
Yeah, he got to the basket, but he had an awfully good shot coming off that screen. But he was able to get there and draw the foul.
First on Mourning.
They're talking about how to play that pick and roll, who made the mistake, because someone allowed Ellie to go completely to the basket. Either the big guys got to show, or the guards got to get over. They got to establish it. They should run it more.
Now we'll do this a little more formally than we did during the rainstorm moments ago. Golden State and Phoenix tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. And the game is in Phoenix, so it will be dry, I'm assuming. At any rate, Bob Neal and Hubie Brown will be there. That's on TNT tomorrow night.
Yeah, the Warriors trying to recover. Bob Lanier, the new head coach, probably learning how to run a practice these days.
Nifty.
Nice look, bad defense. When you're on the weak side, you cannot lose sight of your man and allow him to sneak baseline and get that easy a shot. You've got to see the ball and the man.
Foul on Alonzo Mourning. That's his second.
Watch here, Larry Johnson catches it out on the wing, faces up. Burrell on the weak side just sneaks underneath, so wide open, and Olajuwon kind of stood there, not realizing even who he had.
Ellie for 3. This is a Houston team that's not ashamed to put up that 3-point shot.
Well, they lived by it last year. They work off Hakeem, Olajuwon, and spot up, and they're a very, very outstanding 3-point shooting club. Last year, they pretty much made their living, but New York was able to play them because they were able to play them straight up.
Bugsy Bogues for 2.
When you double, that shot's going to be open all night long unless they rotate a little bit differently.
Houston now with 919 3-point attempts so far this season. And they are 4 of 8 in this game. Here's Elijah Wan for 2.
When he gets that knees bent and that kind of rhythm.
Chuck, it's raining again.
The rain in Spain falls mainly to the play.
Get that to rhyme with Charlotte. 3:05 to go before halftime. They kick it back to Bogues.
All night long, they're going to double from the top. And now Rudy Tomjanovich is saying, we better change the way we're doing this. We'll take a timeout and discuss it.
Timeout, Houston. We'll give you an update on the weather forecast and Clyde Drexler right after this. But Clyde Drexler is on the floor, and he will start the second half with his new team.
It'll be kind of interesting to see how it goes.
It's Kenny Smith, Mario Elie, Clyde Drexler, Pete Chilcutt, and Hakeem Olajuwon. Percy Hawkins gets it inside the Mourning, tipped away, and that's another turnover. That's 13 turnovers for the Charlotte Hornets.
Yeah, they got the turnover and got an easy break out there.
Rockets back on top, 46-45. Larry Johnson passes on the 3, gets it back to Mourning, and the foul is called on Clyde Drexler.
Yeah, Alonzo Mourning a lot of time catches the ball in the lane. Like, looks like he's out of control, gangly, but he ends up getting a foul or making something good happen. In that case, he draws the foul and going to go to the line.
Mourning will shoot 2.
Larry Johnson doing a really good job offensively, outside, inside. That time he took, went to the dribble, took Chilcutt off the dribble, and keyed the ball to Mourning. Mourning was able to get to a position where he draw the foul. Mourning blocks 5th in the NBA, rebounds 12th, points per game 19th.
Tied again at 46. Charlotte regains the lead.
Mourning earlier, this Hornets club, an outstanding free throw shooting club, best in the league. They only missed 2 of those early, but made up for it there. Got 2 to go down.
Olajuwon calls for it. The double comes from Scott Burrell, who tips the ball. Here's Drexler. Drexler with a cutter. Olajuwon with the jump hook. Got it.
Yeah, Drexler making that cut. He's a slashing, cutting player. He's going to make himself really available for Olajuwon as they find out about each other. Keem now has 16.
Bogues at the other end with an air ball.
Yeah, Bristow once felt that the ball was hit, either was hit in the arm or hit, but he's going to get no call. He can get a wide open shot by throwing it inside. He doesn't have to go looking for one.
Muggsy Bogues claiming he was hit on the wrist. Here's Kenny Smith way outside.
Very flat, came off the heel of his hand, but when he's shooting well, he gets in that kind of a rhythm.
Well, his season high came in the first meeting between these two teams when he had 7 3-pointers en route to a 25-point night. 51-47. Johnson rims out. Mourning brings it down instead of putting it back while in the air. And Johnson has it rejected, tries to save it. Loose ball picked up by Smith. Here's Drexler. He's got Chilcutt. Back it goes to Elie, who spots up for the 3. No.
Drexler averaging about 6 rebounds a game, and he's going to help him. Surprisingly, Thorpe was about 5'9".
Burrell hits
This is what he can do.
Larry Johnson kicks it to Scott Burrell. Kenny Smith defensively. Here's Bogues. Percy Hawkins got it for 3.
Yeah, Thorpe was 8'9", not 5'9", but 6 to 8'9", not bad, not a bad trade-off because of the points you're going to get.
Muggsy Bogues with 8 assists in the ball game now, 51-50. Houston on top. Drexler still looking for his first basket. Olajuwon with a rebound.
Now you can see how comfortable they are with the offense. They probably put in some very fundamental plays to run in this half to get Drexler acquainted. They're going to need a couple of practice to get him involved in their offense and where he feels comfortable and his teammates feel comfortable with him.
Foul on Olajuwon.
On that one, that wasn't a subtle one by any measure of means.
Kenny Smith guards Muggsy Bogues. 3-point Houston lead. And another foul. Clyde Drexler
Fouls outside the three-point line. He's going to go to the line for 3 shots.
And Scott Burrell is the man who'll take it. So Drexler with the foul.
Drexler, coming into the game, being traded, wants to do so well, probably not into his game. And it's going to take some time, more time than people think. I think they think automatically he'll step on the floor and everything will be fine. I don't think that'll be the case. I think it's going to take some time, some games, and some practices. And you're at the point in the year where you don't have a lot of practices to get ready.
What's the biggest adjustment?
I would say spacing and knowing when and where you're going to get the ball. I mean, he was kind of the center of the offense in Portland. He will get a lot more runouts when he gets a little more comfortable in the lineup. But in the set offense, he was posted up. He knew exactly where he's going to get the ball, but he'll get comfortable with it. He's a very smart player.
Burrell ties it up, 53-53 with 8:50 to go in the third period. It was the third quarter in New Jersey that was so costly to the Charlotte Hornets on Tuesday night. They had 11 points in that third quarter. Here's Drexler for 3. And there's his first basket as a Rocket.
First basket, Akeem gives him a low 5.
And a big smile from Clyde Drexler.
And it takes a little pressure off him. He'll feel a lot more comfortable after getting that basket.
56-53. Larry Johnson, no double. Now the double comes late. They kick it over to Muggsy Bogues. Jumper is no good. She'll cut rebound. Kenny Smith finds Olajuwon. Drexler spotted up over on the left side. There's the skip pass to him. He goes by Johnson, has it stripped by Hersey Hawkins. Houston will throw it in. Let's go back and for the history books, take a look at Clyde Drexler's first basket.
Spots up, spaces. Kind of his trademark shot. Gets it high over his head.
Kenny Smith back to Chilcutt. Nice soft jumper is short. Mourning with a rebound. Hawkins slashing through the lane. It's stripped. And the Hornets will put it in bounds.
Well, Muggsy Bogues disappointed. He thought he had an assist there for sure because he laid it off perfectly.
Timeout, Charlotte, with 7:42 remaining. Quarter number 3. Rockets up by 3. In the Western Conference in the playoff picture, 6 as the defending world champions, despite a fairly decent 30-17 record. And there's the man who pulled the trigger on the trade, Leslie Alexander, the owner of the Rockets.
We talked to them and Rudy, and they thought they wanted to stand pat this year, but they found couldn't happen. I'm surprised that they're that far down in the standings, a defending champion club.
Here's Johnson, and Olajuwon with a rebound, and Drexler with a rebound. Ball thrown away. Rudy Tomjanovich this morning used the term stale when he described his team.
Stale and running against the wind, and that can happen to a club. What was happening? They'd go in and beat Phoenix by 24, then they'd lose to the Clippers by 20. There was too much of a differential in what they were doing.
Rockets with Drexler in the lineup, hitting 56% midway through the third quarter. Olajuwon gets it back to Kenny Smith. Shot is good.
Big shot runner by Kenny Smith. That clock was running down. They were a little bit of trouble to get off a shot. And that's not a shot you see him shoot a great deal.
Kenny Smith with 7 points now. Hawkins. Chilcutt. Another rebound for Pete Chilcutt. At the other end. Hello.
Here's where he's really going to score points. And with the rifleman back there, Olajuwon, who can throw it like a quarterback, he's going to get a lot of easy baskets for Houston as the year goes on.
This is a 7-0 Houston run. They're up by that same amount. Watch the runner by Kenny Smith, Chuck.
Yeah, he gets it out. The clock, as you see the clock up here, it's about 6 seconds. 5 it turns, and a runner off the wrong foot was able to get it down. Big basket for Houston at that point.
Rockets up by 7. 6:34 remaining, third quarter. Johnson. Fouled, and he'll go to the free throw line.
They're really going to Larry Johnson on the box. He's turning facing, getting into the lane, trying to make something happen. That time he drew the foul because Chilcutt has a hard time playing. I think they picked Olajuwon for the foul. Here he is in the lane. A lot of people are coming. It was hard to see because of all the congestion as to who got him with the body. He did extend his arm. Olajuwon still debating the case.
When you talked about the change in the offensive philosophy for Charlotte, is that a kind of an example? Johnson posting up and getting the ball?
Well, he's always posted up, but he used to work just strictly on post-up. That's a little bit of example. He faced up, but he'll go even further out on the court. He'll go out the three-point line and free himself up because he doesn't want the double team, and they're not going to a double team. So he's just taking Chilcutt one-on-one to try to create something out of it or make something happen.
60-54 the score now. Kenny Smith guarded by Muggsy Bogues. Olajuwon off the mark. Chilcutt with another rebound. That's 5 rebounds for Pete Chilcutt. Back it comes Drexler. Another rebound for Chilcutt. Here's Drexler cutting. Dishes to Olajuwon.
Play. Nice. Chilcutt doing some yeoman job in the lane. Second shots done it time and time again tonight to keep the ball alive.
62-54. Bogue.
There's an example of LJ stepping outside, facing up, and he can shoot it out there. That's one of the things that surprised me about him when he came into the league, his ability to face up and shoot, because most of the time he was so strong around the box for a collegiate player.
There's the fadeaway jumper. Rebound, Scott Burrell. 5:20 to go, quarter number 3. Muggsy Bogues back to Burrell for 3. Houston ball. At the other end, long pass to Drexler. Burrell got it. That got the bench up for the Houston Rockets. Carroll Dawson is looking at Tom Janovich and saying, we haven't seen anything like this.
Yeah, they've been a half-court club, really, but they're really getting in the open court, and this is why they made the trade, because Drexler could do them. They're a happy club right now.
By Drexler with 7 points in the quarter. Take a look at it.
And he's probably as good as there is in the league at leaking out. He has an instinct for getting away and getting down court. Nobody playing him right there. There wasn't any semblance of defense.
Five's got 7 in the third. Rockets up by 8.
Gets 1 second shot. Kick it back out. Shot is missed again. Guess who gets it? Works hard. Gets the ball back. And then dishes off to Olajuwon from Drexler for the score.
Pretty basketball. Pete Chilcutt, who played collegiately at the University of North Carolina, his 4th year in the league, 6 rebounds, and half of them offensive. There's the pass into Alonzo Mourning. 4:54 remaining in the third quarter of play. Larry Johnson guarded by Chilcutt. Burrell. Oh, and here's Drexler from Olajuwon. Walked.
Well, had to walk on him. But he was out there, got a little anxious. But you can already see the benefits of this trade. Olajuwon to Drexler.
A look at tonight's Chevy scoreboard. You see the scores. There is a heck of an important game. San Antonio and Utah at Salt Lake City tonight. San Antonio won in their most recent encounter against the Jazz. Here's Bogues. They won that one big by 16 points. Mourning underneath. Johnson with the offensive board and the block by Olajuwon. At the other end, here's Mario Elie. Rejected by Burrell. Oh, that quiets the crowd. They were ready to erupt, and then Kenny Smith says,
Oh, what a block.
Wasn't that something?
Sensational block. But Kenny Smith, the man on the moment.
Another wet spot not caused by the raindrops. And the lead is 10. Johnson to Burrell. Rejected by Olajuwon. Here's Kenny Smith. Chilcutt. Drexler wasn't ready for the pass. They'll go to their half-court set.
Olajuwon in the lane. Look out.
They find Drexler. Olajuwon back to Drexler. Shot too strong. Burrell looks underneath, and Johnson wasn't ready for the pass. Take a look at Olajuwon defensively.
Looks like he has an easy two. Quickly. Look from behind right here. Look at this block. Whoa! That's a hustle play.
Rockets have called timeout. 3 minutes and 33 seconds remaining in quarter number 3. It's a 10-point Houston lead. First and 4, they follow it up. Detroit, Chicago, and Sacramento. And then, Chuck, what could be a back-breaking or season-making trip to the West.
Yeah, all of these clubs over 500. Lakers, we all know what they're doing out west. And, of course, you got the Suns, the Sonics, the Blazers, the Warriors, the Kings. And there's not necessarily a win on the road out west. And 2 of those are back-to-back. So they've got to make hay, as they say, and try to win some games here at home. They've got some potential wins. And this game, they're in a little bit of trouble with 15 minutes and 33 seconds to go, down 10.
Alan Bristow said about that road trip, I just hope we don't go over. Muggsy Bogues. And Del Curry is in the lineup now, along with Alonzo Mourning, Scott Burrell, and Larry Johnson. Here's Curry coming off the pick, not open. Good job by Mario Ellie defensively on Curry. Johnson. The double comes from Olajuwon, but Johnson gets the basket.
Yeah, Johnson working very well into the lane, really. And they needed that basket. They've had a real problem scoring here.
Olajuwon, how good is he?
How good is he? He's MVP last year. It's going to be hard to take it away from him.
22 points tonight for Hakeem Olajuwon. Mourning.
You know, interestingly enough, new sneak out by Spalding, $45 he wanted to sneak that everybody can afford, or more people can afford.
Now, we talked to Hakeem before the game about the shoes he's wearing, and they're going to mass market it. He said he wanted to provide a sneaker that everyone could, that it would be affordable for everyone.
Chucky Brown working on a pass from Olajuwon, gets the post up and scores, instantly coming in off the bench.
Lead is 12. Biggest lead of the ball game now. Olajuwon from behind, but he knocks it right to Scott Burrell, who puts it down.
The Hornets have got to tune their game up a notch, get a little more emotionally involved. It's not going to just, they're kind of sitting back, watching Drexler, seeing what's happening, and Olajuwon's performing.
Smith, illegal defense. That's the first of the game. Watch Larry Johnson at the offensive end.
Got great lift in the lane there. Watch the line. Mourning thought he was going to post up. He makes the quick move, gets up and under.
It was the second illegal defense violation. There's the chew. Hakeem said they'll be put on the market and made affordable for every youngster. He's some man.
Great demeanor, terrific guy. I just think 3, 4, 5 years ago, they were thinking about trading him.
Yeah. Smith for 3. The lead is 14. Kenny Smith with 13 points in this quarter. He was happy when you walked in the door today. Larry Johnson for 2.
They're not getting to the, if they're going to double team, they better do it quickly and create, because he's the only guy that seems to be able to score for the Hornets. So they're going to have to get there quicker if they want to do something about it.
Drexler to Kenny Smith. Back to Clyde Drexler. Mario Ellie wasn't sure where to go with that.
Too many passes to spoil the soup. And that quickly you turn it over, let them get back in.
Lead is down to 10. Final 63 seconds, quarter number 3. Smith. Oh, he's got the range now.
He gets, you know what? He loves to see us come to the arena.
16 points in this quarter. 6 of 6 from the field. Del Curry off the mark. Olajuwon with a rebound. A 13-point lead. Smith with another one. Oh, my goodness.
There was nobody down there. He didn't care. It was 1-on-4. I'm going to take it because I really got a feel for this game.
Kenny Smith, 19 points in the quarter.
This Charlotte crowd is not happy at what's happened. They've got instant offense in there, but even that doesn't help.
Who do you think might take this shot?
Bogues better stay right where he is, as close as he can get.
9 seconds to go. Foul on Muggsy Bogues.
Had a foul to give him. Take it on the side. Still 7 seconds to get the shot on.
Michael Adams getting ready to come in. Tim Brough in the lineup now for the Houston Rockets. 80-64. The lead is 16. What a show by Kenny Smith. He dishes to Elijah Wan for the shot. What a quarter for the Houston Rockets.
They got a little juice when Clyde came into the game or was able to play. And I sensed that maybe Bristow and the Hornets would have rather said, and there's it. He may make that shot.
Oh, my! Holy cow!
Basically, he's not a great shooter, but he will make long-range shots.
Let's take one more look at the final basket of the quarter.
Going to half court, lost possession, was almost a back court violation. Chucky gets it in the air, lengthened out, scores it.
How do you like Houston's third quarter? 41-19. Clyde Drexler and Kenny Smith led the way. We've got 12 to play. The Rockets on a roll. They lead by 21. Back ready to start the final quarter, but let's take one more look at the last play of the third quarter.
Listen to the bell or the horn. Yep. Just cleared his hand.
That was Sam Cassell who came out to jump on Chucky Brown's back. It's been an interesting 10 days for Chucky Brown and the Houston Rockets, hasn't it? Rockets 77-5 when leading after 3 over the last 2 years. Here's Tim Brough back on the floor now. It's Brough, Shilcutt, Shane Smith, Drexler, and Chucky Brown. Elijah Wan get the rest. That ball will go Charlotte's way. In that last quarter, the Rockets 17 of 26 for 65%. Kenny Smith was perfect in the field. And here's a steal by Smith. Wide shot back to Del Curry. Shilcutt with another rebound. Tim Brough gets it back to Shilcutt. Little pick and roll off his hand.
Yeah, Drexler made a great pass. Shilcutt got a little excited. He saw all that space in front of him. He said, who's coming? There's nobody coming, so he drops the ball.
Alan Bristow concerned about his team after that resumption of play in the loss in New Jersey. Larry Johnson gets 2.
Yeah, they're going to keep going to Larry to try to make something happen.
Kenny Smith back to Shilcutt. Through his hands, his legs rather.
Yeah, they missed a wide open shot. Got to be a little careful. Elijah Wan out of the game. They'll allow the Hornets to get back in the game. And the crowd, I might add.
At the other end, here's Shilcutt and Kenny Smith. Mourning with the block. Michael Adams. Larry Johnson over Chucky Brown. Got it.
Larry Johnson wants a foul.
Johnson has 18. The lead, however, is still 17.
Here's where Drexler really dangerous. You have to double him.
Shilcutt problems with the shot. Adams quickly into Larry Johnson. Mourning for 2.
Larry Johnson looks fatigued, but he's keeping them in the game.
Rudy Tomjanovich jumps up and signals timeout. Time called at the end of a 6-0 run by the Charlotte Hornets. 9:54 remaining, 85-70. Houston. 7 of 18 and 11 rebounds. Alonzo Mourning more modest numbers. And the Rockets and Hornets both with 9 offensive rebounds. These are not necessarily good rebounding clubs, are they, Chuck?
No, they really aren't. They're both out-rebounded over the year. So they do struggle on the backboard, but they do it other ways.
It's been a while since we gave you an updated weather report. It's not raining inside anymore. Rockets leading 85-70, 9:48. That ball taken away by Hersey Hawkins. Left side to Del Curry for 3. Again, you sense the crowd ready to explode had he made it.
Yeah, Hornets went to a trap and got the steal, but couldn't convert.
Sam Cassell on the floor now. He gives Kenny Smith the rest. Underneath to Olajuwon, who's also back. Chucky Brown, offensive board, knocked out of bounds. Houston will throw it in.
What he does so well. You know, people look at him and say, we don't have the skill to shoot. You can't do this. The guy just works and get offensive rebound. A significant player in the league and can play in the league.
It'll be interesting to see what happens to him because he's on a 10-day contract and Herrera is getting ready to come off the injured list.
There's a few clubs that could use him. You can't buy what he gives you.
Want to name a couple? Let's start some rumors.
Any losing team. They better do it quick unless they do it on a 10-day.
Well, in that case, he's going to wind up in the East.
Another turnover.
Curry blocked by Bro. Houston ball. Tim Bro.
Which looked like a layup on the other end with the turnover. Ends up with a great block, and it goes off of Curry out of bounds, and they get another opportunity.
That is the first turnover for Charlotte in this half, but Del Curry, 2 of 11 tonight. Ball taken away. That's another Houston turnover, and a foul on Sam Cassell. Another home game for one of us next week, Chuck.
That's true. You'll be at home with your new condo in Denver.
Back in Denver to watch the 76ers and the Nuggets next Thursday night at 8 o'clock in Nichols Arena. Natives are getting a little restless in Denver right now.
Yeah, I've heard that. But we've got 2 great shot blockers in Bradley and Batumbo. And see what happens out of that. 2 of the top 5 in the league.
Here's Johnson. 8:40 remaining in the ball game. A 15-point Houston lead. Adams cut pass, right side. Nailed it.
Waited, yeah, down in that, waited for the double team, ran out of the double team, went back to the double team, finally threw out, got the 3-pointer.
A 9-0 run to start the quarter now. And another turnover. 14 turnovers for Houston. The putback, no. Cassell gets the rebound.
And the Hornets have missed some golden opportunities the other end. The Hornet fans want fouls called.
Drexler. Rims out. Rebound, Chucky Brown, he's fouled.
They chase up. They have Cassell trying to defeat him because they're 3-quartering Mourning, and they need to swing the ball back to the top and reverse it.
Olajuwon and Cassell are having a rather vigorous discussion about where Olajuwon is getting the ball.
And this is the reason why. Well, this is Drexler entering, but see how Mourning's playing him?
See, look at Olajuwon. He's holding his right hand up, and he's talking to Cassell again. Take a look 2 plays ago, Chuck.
Here's an example. Watch Mourning getting his hand in over the top and gets his hand being very aggressive. But Cassell's got to take the ball to the baseline and bounce it in to get it to him. They do get the zone call and put Drexler on the line.
There was a technical foul called on Alonzo Mourning in addition to his 3rd foul of the game.
And there's Cassell and Olajuwon getting a pat on each other's back. They've solved their problems, they think. What Olajuwon has to do in that play when he posts up is come up the lane and get him higher, not hold your position. Now he got the ball into him. They're going to get either an isolation or a wide open shot. They did not get he went to the middle, did not get it.
At the other end, Cassell back.
And that's something the Hornets do very well. Mourning will run the center of the court and try to get the ball right in front of the rim. That time, got fouled.
That's Cassell's 2nd foul. Bring it out on the side. Del Curry will throw it in. 7:39 remaining. A 13-point Houston lead. A 9-1 run at 1 point. Here's Curry. 2 of 12 in the ball game now. That's unusual.
Yeah, when he and Hawkins don't score enough points, they have a hard time where to go. Mourning gets his a lot around the basket. Johnson has to become the primary scorer.
Tim Bro. Elijah Wan. The double comes from Mourning. They've got Johnson guarding Elijah Wan now, and there's Tim Bro with a three-pointer.
There's good patience on the play. Elijah Wan waiting for the double team. Slung it back, top, weak side.
89-73, under 7 minutes remaining. Hawkins off the mark. And it's taken away from Alonzo Mourning. Drexler has it.
Yeah, he's 12th in the NBA with steals, and there's an example. He'll reach in from the top. He's playing a lot of hard minutes in the second half. Of course, he didn't play into the first, so no problem.
Elijah Wan. Tim Bro for 3 more.
Short arm that one.
Adams off his foot. Houston ball.
Jake O'Donnell on the play, and Alan Bristow very unhappy about that call. But Jake, one of our premier officials, right on top of the call.
Alan Bristow says, let's talk this over. Time has been called by Charlotte with 6:29 remaining in the ball game, and Houston up by 16. Board. The NBA blocks per game. We got some folks as the rain continues to fall who are taking an early departure. The Vista leaderboard. Elijah Wan, second in the league at blocks, 3.5. Alonzo Mourning also in the top 5 with 2.96 per game.
Yeah, we just talked about it. We're going to see 2 of those guys next Thursday night in Denver.
Tim Bro looks inside for Elijah Wan. Drexler getting a rest now. Here's Mario Ellie. The next three-pointer made will tie a club record for the Houston Rockets. They made 11 tonight. Here's Cassell.
When you can do that, get in the lane, and he steps out like that and square up. Great play by Cassell.
91-73, under 6 to go. Again, the Rockets continue on the road. They've got road trip to Washington. They'll meet the president at the White House, and they go on to New York on Sunday. Adams, right side, rims out. And Mourning gets the rebound. Hawkins has it back. There's Elijah Wan. Johnson tries a Burrell, rather.
Tries to get a tomahawk off a rebound. That's a tough play for anybody.
Right.
But Houston in good control of this game. They just keep going inside of the zone.
Illegal defense. Free throws will be shot. Muggsy Bogues comes on for Michael Adams. It was a 41-19 third quarter that propelled the Rockets to this lead. Kenny Smith with 19 points in the quarter. Clyde Drexler had 7. And the free throw is good. Oops. They're not happy.
Not happy.
Or they're wet. Throw back to Cassell. Rebound, Alonzo Mourning. 5 to go in the ball game. Back to Muggsy Bogues and Larry Johnson. Kind of a half-hearted double from Cassell, but Bogues is open. 92-76.
They'll go into a little more pressing action. They're going to keep hammering the ball into Elijah Wan. Make the Hornets defend out. Either defend him and or someone outside, and he scores and gets fouled. Watch him work the box here. Watch him work. He hooks him, got the baseline, gets it, and he gets bumped hard, but still scores the basket and gets fouled. Here's what it looks like from the baseline. When he gets in that tight, when he gets your shoulder squared up to the baseline, and you're behind him, you can't stop him. Remember the conversation he and Cassell had earlier about get me the ball at the right time, at the right place, I'll make it happen, and he doesn't.
They've solved that communication gap. 26 points and 13 rebounds for his team.
This tells you how good he is when he can come in with a makeshift lineup. And it really is a makeshift. Key guys out, a trade, and come into another guy's, the hive, so to speak, a good club, and leading the Central Division and establish a lead like this.
A 10-3 run now for the Houston Rockets. They're up 95-76, and Morning will go to the free throw line. But barring something spectacular by the Hornets, this one's going to go the Rockets' way. Talk about, Chuck, a little bit about the Houston Rockets now as a work in progress, because this is not the team that they envisioned for the rest of the season.
You know, and they've got these people who are injured. They're going to have to get them back, and they've got the problem of Maxwell coming back at some point. It'll take some management skills by Rudy Tomjanovich and their club, but when you've got a player, an MVP player on that box, like Elijah Watt, not only offensively but defensively, you can make a lot of things happen, and ordinary players become a little bit better, which proved tonight.
They will get Carl Herrera back probably at the end of this road trip next week. Robert Horry with a strained back, a little bit more of a problem. And then Maxwell, of course, has 7 more games to sit out under the league-imposed suspension. But the Rockets look impressive in Drexler's debut tonight, even though it was only a half a loaf. Elijah Wan back to Cassell for 3. Morning with a rebound. Under 4 minutes remaining in regulation. Muggsy Bogues. Percy Hawkins.
Cassell wide open on the last, but he's unhappy with himself. They get such good shots because of the double team effort. And there's a foul by Hawkins.
3 minutes and 41 seconds before a half empty or half full, depending on your perspective, Charlotte Coliseum. It was full at the outset, but the Houston Rockets went up 41-19 in the third quarter to turn a 1-point deficit at the half into a big lead, and they have led throughout. Kenny Smith fulfilled that margin. Clyde Drexler with 7 points in his debut as a Rocket in the third quarter, but Elijah Wan has been a stallion.
They thought it was a double dribble. He got it knocked out of his hands. He just waltzed into the lane. Morning's looking at the official and very unhappy about it, but it was a legitimate play, kind of a freak play. Don't see it very often.
29 points now for Hakeem. 3:04 remaining. Scott Burrell with a 3.
The Houston Rockets will take time out, make sure they got this game under control, get some rest for Elijah Wan.
Let's watch Hakeem Olajuwon just a moment ago.
Here he gets a stop, gets it knocked out of his hands, just runs it down. Nobody picks it up and says, I'll take it.
.255 remaining in this one. The Rockets up comfortably by 15 points. 2 police officers on a narcotics beat battle the criminals, the drugs, and themselves on the movie on TBS following our game. Jason Patrick and Jennifer Jason Leigh star in Rush. That's tonight after the game right here on TBS. New York defeats Alvin Gentry and the Miami Heat 96-87 tonight. Cleveland. That's impressive for Cleveland and Milwaukee.
Yeah, coming off a big win over Orlando last night.
And Utah leading San Antonio out of Salt Lake City. Kenny Smith, Mario Elie, Chucky Brown, Clyde Drexler back on the floor with Hakeem Olajuwon. There's the dish to Olajuwon from Drexler. And Kenny Smith finally misses. A little bit of a grin as he goes back across half court to go on defense. Greg Sutton has come on the floor now for the Charlotte Hornets. Gets the long rebound. Joe Wolf is also on. Morning. Nope. Olajuwon to Kenny Smith.
Now Bristow has pretty much taken out his starter, saying, hey, except for Morning, this one's in the can. I said they had a good workout today. They need another good one tomorrow to get on track. They need a win.
You might have them out here early.
Their lead has been cut probably to a half a game in the Central Division. By the time the night's over.
A pick by Morning. The left-handed shot up and no good, and the rebound in the hands of Chucky Brown. 1:45 remaining in the ball game. Drexler and Olajuwon, 40% of Phi Slamma Jams. The Houston Cougars basketball team in 1983 and 84. I still think one of the most shocking upsets in NCAA history was that NC State win over Olajuwon, Drexler, Larry Mishaw, Michael Young, Alvin Franklin.
Yeah, and our old friend Jimmy Valvano didn't believe it either.
Yeah.
I remember his reaction. They took a 20-second timeout, wanted to get Olajuwon out of there. Don't take a chance on entering in a game like this when you are up 17 with 1:41 to go.
Phi Slamma Jamma, by the way. I've really gone back and dug into the old books. That's a phrase that was coined for this Houston basketball team by Thomas Bonk, who is now a sports writer with the Los Angeles Times.
Who's on that club? You have the names, I think. Too.
Yeah, Larry Mishaw, Reed Geddes, who's now doing the Houston basketball commentary, Rick Winslow, Greg Cadillac Anderson. They had some pretty good ball players back there. Well, while we delve into the history of the University of Houston, time has been called here. It's not raining. Back at the Hive in Charlotte, where the Houston Rockets are en route to a victory over the Hornets. Size of that victory to be determined. They lead at 99-82 right now. Tonight's Budweiser player of the game, Hakeem Olajuwon, 29 points, 14 rebounds, 6 assists, and 4 blocks.
He knew he had to come to work tonight with the makeshift lineup and with the Drexler case hanging in the abyss at the halftime, until halftime.